This is the blue hole in the Red Sea in the Sinai Peninsula of Egypt. It's one of many of these blue holes around the globe, but this one is considered to be by far the most dangerous. And as I'm sure you'll see, this is only highlighted by some of the horrifying incidents that have taken place here. As always, viewer discretion is advised. This is Tariq Omar. Professionally, he is a technical diver and instructor. Unofficially, he's nicknamed the Bone Collector. He's also been called the Gravekeeper, and the grave or cemetery that he keeps is the Blue Hole in the Sinai Peninsula of Egypt. The Blue Hole is one of the most popular dive sites on Earth for both novice and expert divers. It's also thought to be the single deadliest dive site on the planet. Over the years, it's estimated that at least 130 people have lost their lives diving the hole, but some estimates put the figure at over 200. On top of that, since no official records have been kept, no one is really sure exactly. It could be significantly higher still. Since the late 90s, Tariq has been involved in the majority, if not all of the body recoveries that have been performed. And although this isn't all of the over 100 divers who've lost their lives here, it's still enough that he's lost count. After 2 decades of making the recoveries, the only names that he remembers are the first 2 that he ever recovered shortly after coming to the nearby city. They were Martin Guerra and Connor O'Regan. In 1997, Martin traveled from Ireland to Egypt to spend the year working as a dive instructor, taking advantage of all the great spots this area has to offer. Part of the way through the year, his friend Connor joined so that the 2 of them could finish out the rest of the year together. Connor was most of the way through the final phase of becoming an instructor as well, so both men were quite experienced as well as considered to be careful and meticulous divers by the people who knew them. They also both loved diving so much that this trip was sort of like a test run for some big plans they had upon returning to Ireland. The 2 of them planned to scope out the area so they can then set up a travel agency that would specialize in overseas dive tours. In November of that year, about a month in advance of them heading home, they both went to visit the famous Blue Hole dive spot to do some diving. This trip was part of a larger trip made by PADI, which is a worldwide diving organization, so a bunch of other trained and professional divers were on the trip as well. At some point during the dive, Martin and Connor were separated from the rest of the group, and so they were alone with no one else around them. Somehow, when they got separated, they accidentally went too deep for the gas mixture they were using. This caused them both to lose consciousness, which then caused their regulators to fall out of their mouths, and then they sank to 65 meters or 213 feet. All of the other divers only realized when everyone was on the surface and the 2 men were late for the scheduled return time. Divers quickly went back down to search for the men, but by the time they were found, it was already too late. Their story is like so many others from the Blue Hole. Otherwise careful and experienced divers go down into the hole